right, welcome everyone to Forks Forward Career Discovery. I'm really excited to have you all here. This is our first of our series of workshops, all of which will be recorded and will be shared on our website as well. This is a really exciting series that we put together for you to help those of you who are graduating students or alumni find your place and get the career services and resources that you need to succeed. Today, we're going to be going over career discovery and career exploration. So we're going to be looking at it, the process of discovering what path is right for you and what that looks like if you are changing your path or if you're still having trouble identifying it. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So I have a few questions for you all. Um, Go ahead and enter in the chat. What kind of degree did you choose? What degree did you pursue? What are you studying? Likewise, let me know what jobs your peers have gotten already or are looking to get. I would also like to hear if you are doing something similar or different from your colleagues. Go ahead and enter in the chat. I'd like to just hear everyone's responses. You don't have to answer all of these, just let you to hear people's opinions and where they are in their career exploration. All right, there's AI in business, digital marketing. All right, awesome. Medical studies, computer science. We're getting a good, uh, diverse group. Yeah, sports journalism. Congratulations with your graduation. Awesome. I'm seeing a really good, diverse group. And I'm sure a lot of you have noticed that maybe your career path is looking different than you expected, or is going a different place than you thought it would when you first started. And that's okay. Or maybe going exactly the way you planned, and that's all right too. So today we're going to talk about a few things. First, we're going to talk about what is career exploration and what does that really mean to us. We're going to start identifying your priorities and what that might mean for your career search. We're going to evaluate your options and learn what it means to decide which job is better than others or which job is right for us. And we're going to talk about how to create a plan and start taking action once you decide which career path is yours. So first things first, what is career exploration? Career exploration is the process of learning about oneself and the world of work. It's identifying your potential careers and developing a strategy for realizing education and career goals, which is a really fancy way of saying it's the process of figuring out what you want to be when you grow up, which is a process that most of us go through all the time, over and over again throughout our lives. And that's okay. But it is a cycle, it's a process, and you're going to learn things about yourself constantly. And when you learn things about yourself, you're going to explore more options. You're going to, once you explore those options, you'll start making decisions and getting focused. You're going to take action, which will cause you to learn new things about yourself. And it's a process, an ever going one, that you'll probably be going through over and over again throughout your lives. So a lot of us are brought up with the belief that your major equals your career, that whatever you studied is automatically going to be what your job is. Um, and for those of us who have been working in the workforce for a while now, can tell you this is rarely the case. More often, it looks like this because we're influenced by more than just our major. We're influenced by our personal values. We're influenced by our identities, our passions, our academic interests, our professional interests. We're here we're influenced by money and realistic concerns as well. There's so many things that adjust our career path, and it's important to kind of acknowledge that all of those are going to be relevant. So try not to think about your degree as what can I do with my major? Think of it as how can I market this knowledge I got from my major, the ability and skills that I got? How do they make me unique in the workforce? How do they make me specially qualified for different things? Because every degree, no matter what it's in, has value and has more value than you expect. Because it's not just valuable in your field, it can be valuable in other fields as well. So, first things first, let's identify our priorities. So, first, think about our interests. What are your interests? What is the thing that fascinates you the most? What are you enjoying doing? Um, is there things that are particularly important to you that you want to be sure that are part of your work? These are your interests, and it's important to think about these. All of us are going to have different ones. That's okay, and don't feel beholden to the same one your friends are, or the same one that you think that you should be doing. Think about what actually interests you. All right. And you also want to think about what do you actually value? Because again, all of us value different things, not only in our personal lives and our everyday lives, but we value different things in our work. Some of us are going to care mostly about the industry. We don't necessarily care what job we work, but we want to work in a certain industry, like maybe medicine or robotics or computer science or even teaching. All of us have different industries that we're interested in. So think about which ones interest you the most. Some of us are going to value the type of work, what kind of things we're doing on the day-to-day basis. Some of us are going to want to do more creative things that allow us to use our hands a little bit more. Some of us are going to prefer to be in the office and working behind a computer screen because that's where they feel most comfortable in doing that kind of work. Every organization is going to have different values and belief systems. And for some of you, that's going to be important that you have a workplace that aligns with your values. For some of you, that's going to be less important. Some of you are going to care about the location that you want to work and live in a certain place, whether it's a certain state, a certain country, or at least just even just work from home instead of working in the office. Again, all of those things are priorities, and different people are going to have those different values and different priorities. Some of you are going to care most about the compensation and benefits. Again, valid. We live in a society in which our compensation is important and we need to pay rent and utilities and other bills. So that's important too. A lot of us are going to care most about office culture, how people get along, what the relationships between the office is like. And some of us are going to care about the workload. Again, all of us are different, and what you value is okay, but you just want to recognize what do I actually value? What's most important to me out of these things? Maybe even rank them for yourself just so that you can remember which ones you value most. You also want to remember what are your strengths? Some of you are going to be great at learning and growing. You're going to be good at constantly developing as a professional. Some of you are going to be great at communicating clearly. Others are going to be great at problem solving. Others will be good at understanding differences and working with people of different identities and cultures. Some of you are going to be able to just be able to lead with purpose and just go forward and inspire others. Some of you are going to be expert professionals that know how to act in the office, that know how to work with others well. Some of you are going to be able to be great collaborators, coming up with ideas and working on teams. And others are going to be able to be tech experts and use it wisely instead of incorrectly. And all of these skills that I've just listed here are ones that we have seen and have been told by companies that they're most interested in general. And no matter what your career is, you're going to use all of these skills to a certain degree. Yes, maybe if you're in computer science, the tech skill is probably going to be the most important. But everyone in tech still has to communicate with each other. They still have to work with each other. They still have to grow, keep growing and learning. And the same goes for any other job. So you want to just recognize what are your strengths and how do they align with your industry or your career path. So what can get you help started on all this? I do have a tool for you. It's called Pathway U. It's a really excellent tool that helps you find career profiles, but it also gives you a little bit of uh, an exam or a personality assessment that includes things like focusing on your values and your priorities. That way, you can kind of get another look at what you might be thinking and what you might be valuing. It's great because it is really short assessments. They take about 20 minutes to do all four, so about 5 minutes each. And once you're done with those, you can actually explore different career paths that work for you. So you can actually see different profiles and what they might need. I put an example of physician assistants, and you can see things like the expected salary, what are the job outcomes, what kind of daily responsibilities you might be doing in this job. There's usually even a video that shows what the day in the life of one of these jobs is like. So I do highly recommend using Pathway U as a tool to just get started. It's not the end all be all. I never believe any tool is, but you're going to find it just a useful place to get started and generate ideas. So once you've started identifying your priorities, figuring out what you value and what you don't care about per se, you're going to start evaluating your options, which jobs, which career paths actually work for you. So first things first, try to take a honest self-inventory. Um, that means think about what education and training do you have? All of you have a degree or going to be having a degree soon, and that's one thing you all have in common, and that's one piece of education. But some of you may have more. Some of you may have special internships or special training that you've gotten outside of ASU. Some of you may have professional experiences already. Some of you may have unique skills that others don't. In fact, I've seen people put some wild things on their resumes, including everything from scuba diving to cosplaying based off of the job that they go for. Think about what your biggest strengths are. What is going to make you the most appetizing, the most interesting candidate to people? What are some areas to grow? All of us, none of us are perfect. All of us can continue to grow and continue to learn in pretty much every field. But where are you lacking, especially in terms of your career path? Is there anything that you're missing that is going to be required to grow into your field? Likewise, think about limitations and restrictions. Obviously, we may have some physical restrictions or monetary restrictions. We may have familial restrictions, like if we have a family and we can't just pack them up and move them across the country. We may have restrictions based off of time. Maybe we need to work on certain hours or certain days of the week, and that might affect what jobs are available to us. Think about these things honestly so that you can be sure that you're going for the right paths. Then identify what's most important to you, the type of work, the type of organization you want to work for, the location and flexibility, compensation and benefits, the culture fit, schedule, everything else we talked about earlier in that values and priorities section. Then you want to start searching. Whenever you plan to start searching, start off as soon as possible, sooner rather than later. Obviously, you want to wait for the time that's comfortable and appropriate for you and your lifestyle. But the sooner you do it, the more likely you are to get a job and a time frame that's good for you. Um, do a lot of research. It's always better to do research into these jobs, research into industries, research into the specific companies you're applying to, because not only will it help you cater your resume to these organizations and interview with these organizations when you are ready for jobs, but it's also just going to help you figure out, all right, where do I actually want to work? Does this company share my values, or is it going to be a good place to work, or is it a toxic place, or does it just have values that I don't believe in? Again, determine where you need to grow your skills. All of us need to constantly grow our skills, and it's always good to just recognize, hey, where do I need to grow? And networking is key, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that in a moment, but it is important to network. And this is helpful in career exploration because by talking to professionals that are in your industry, you can get firsthand knowledge about what it's like. You can know what they like and what they don't like about the industry. You can learn about whether or not it's a good company to work for. You can learn about different projects and see if their day-to-day life is what you kind of want. There's so much you can get out of networking, not just getting a job, but figuring out what job you actually do want. So I do recommend doing what are called informational interviews. These are interviews with people that are in your industry or other industries that help you get information about what you're interested in. It's great to get this firsthand information. You get to discover new opportunities and you get to expand your network, which, if you are applying for jobs, expanding your network is going to be critical. If you are doing some of these informational interviews, I do have some questions that I recommend asking. These are some basic ones. You can come up with your own, but I think these are all really helpful. For instance, how do you get started in this field? What do you dislike or like about your job? What do you do in the day-to-day life of your job? What kind of opportunities do you have in your field? Is it a dying field or is it a growing field? Who else should I talk to in the industry? Or what else do I need to get started in this field? These are really useful questions that can get you so much information. And even if you learn something that makes you decide, you know what, this path isn't for me, I don't want to go down this path anymore, that's still useful information. And it's better to know sooner rather than later. And you don't want to get stuck in a job for a few years that you don't like. So we've talked a little bit about identifying your priorities. We've talked about exploring your options a little bit. So now I recommend let's start talking about creating a plan and taking action. So I do recommend starting to make career goals. And we always start with what we have. So what have you done so far? What are your resources? What are you putting on your resume? Then think about, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Is it doing the same job? That's totally fine, especially if you're getting a lot of training and education doing it. Do you see yourself getting promoted? Do you see yourself in a completely different industry? Whatever your goal is, it's just a good idea to start planning what it is. Then start identifying the realistic experiences and realistic expectations. Obviously, a lot of us may want to be the CEO of a company or the head of research and development or managing an amazing team in 5 years. Unfortunately, not all of us are going to be able to rise that quickly. A lot of us are going to have to go for more realistic things bit by bit to rise where we want to go. And that's totally fine. But it's important to recognize, what is it within my grasp right now so that I can keep growing, keep learning, and eventually get to where I want to go. And then finally, you need to start taking action. And whether that's doing a little bit day by day or throwing yourself into the process of finding the right career for yourself, whatever it is, any kind of action is correct. So let's start talking about your career goals. All career goals are going to be specific to you. All of us are going to have different career goals, even if we're in the same industry. I saw a few of you are in medicine, a few of you are in tech. I can guarantee most of you have different career paths and different career goals than each other, even if you share the same degree. All your career goals are going to be relevant to your future career. That's why it's called a career goal. You're going to create actionable steps. You don't want to create something vague that's just like, I will be this in the future. You want to have actionable steps of, well, first I'm going to do this degree, then I'm going to go do this program, I'm going to get this entry level job title, then I'll get promoted, then I'll do this, then I'll do this. You're creating actionable steps and the things that you can measure. As for feedback, all of us create career plans. We all have ideas of where we want to go. Sometimes we need to talk to other people about what that is realistically. And sometimes that may be our partner, it may be our parents, just be your friends or a colleague. It could even be a professor that you view as a mentor. But we do want to get feedback to see, hey, am I thinking too big? Am I pie in the sky? Or am I thinking too small? Am I not living up to my ability? Am I not living up to my potential? And you want to continue adapting with your career goals. Your career goals are going to change. Our priorities change. One minute you may think, I want money. I want to get good compensation. I care about benefits. I don't care about anything else just because I need to get that money and I want to live comfortably later. But then maybe 10 years down the road, you may think, you know what? I don't care about that money so much anymore. Now I want to have more flexibility so I can be with my family. Or it may go vice versa. Or it may have completely different priorities that adapt. Again, we're always changing, we're always growing. So it's important to adapt as well with our career goals. And write your goals down. I know this sounds obvious, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people just keep their dreams to themselves. But it's important to write it down, and especially somewhere you can see it often, so that you remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing. And you remind yourself, hey, I have something I'm working towards, and I need to start taking steps towards that. I do recommend what we call SMART goals. SMART goals are specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and timely. This is a special type of goal setting that is proven to be very effective. You want your goals to be specific, which means you have a clear statement, a clear goal in mind. You don't want it to be vague. You want to be measurable. Have a goal that can be tracked, that there could be not necessarily numbers, but actual successes and milestones made. Make sure it's actionable. And it should be challenging enough to help you grow. It should be challenging enough to help you learn more, but it shouldn't be too challenging and shouldn't be beyond your abilities. Again, you want your goals to be relevant. If your goal is to be the head programmer for an organization, your goal shouldn't have anything to do with irrelevant things like history of the Peloponnesian War or something like that, unless that's relevant to your job. But most of us are going to have goals that are very relevant and very specific to our career path. You also want to be timely. You want to have a timetable for your goals, because if we let our goals just float in the air and be vague and be, at some point, I'm going to do this, that allows us to just keep pushing that deadline over and over and over again until 5, 6, 7 years go by and you still haven't done anything towards that goal. When we set a timetable, that encourages us to start taking action. If you need help with this, you can meet with a career advisor. Um, I'm one of the career advisors. I have also a whole other team with me that are able to help with this. And we do career exploration with you as well as all these other aspects. But this is specifically something that we can help you with creating a SMART goal. You do want to also get experience. So this is going to help you make decisions as well, because by getting experience, you're going to know which path is right for you and which path is going to be the right fit. So start charting your path now. First, identify your interests and your priorities. Evaluate your options. Make a career plan and start taking action. I do have some other resources here. There's Pathway U again on the far left. In the middle is Job Market Insights. I encourage you to use it with Pathway U, whereas Pathway U is a little bit more qualitative. Job Market Insights provides a more quantitative view of the same job industries that Pathway U shows. So it can give you two different sides of the same coin. Um, and finally, make a plan. Explore Handshake. There's tons of resources there for you, whether you're trying to grow and develop, whether you're looking and still trying to decide what you want to do, or if you just want to find events that work for you or sign up for career advising with me. That's all found on Handshake. We do have other resources online, some of which don't require sign-in. So I do recommend these as well. We do have resources for everything from resume reviews to interviewing to help with grad school applications. There's a ton out there, and I encourage you to look at it if you think it'll be helpful. Again, I encourage everyone who wants to make an appointment with us. Our team is always happy to work with you all and talk to you through pretty much anything career related. We won't be able to make it a job application for you. We won't be able to apply to the job for you, but we are here to empower you and guide you into your career path.